Hello teacher, my name is Steven Rodriguez, and with this video I want to present my homework about um, the signature of uh, English tip. Hello teacher, this video is made in order to show some cultural aspects of English speaking countries such as Canada, United States of America, Australia, South Africa, and from South Africa I took Pretoria, Caribbean island, and from Caribbean island I took Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, and finally United Kingdom. Canada. Canada is the second largest country in the world in area after Russia, accompanying roughly the northern two-fifths of the continent of North America. Languages in Canada. Canada is an officially bilingual country with two official languages, French and English. In practice, however, the majority of Canadians speak English, with progressively smaller groups speaking English and French, English and some other language, or only French. The complex power relationship between these four groups form one Canada's longest running political dramas. Religion. In Canada is characterized by diversity, tolerance, and harmony. Canadian is a multicultural society with a rich mosaic of religious, cultural, and ethnic communities. Consequently, its demographically heterogeneous population includes many fight groups who live side by side in relative peaceful coexistence. Canada stands out as a model of tolerance, respect, uh, and religious harmony in the modern world today. Support for religious pluralism is an important part of Canada political cultures. Food. Canadian cuisine has evolved from the far-reaching cultural influences Europe, Asia, Caribbean, and especially Britain and France. The country had direct contact with and the contribution that each individual family, town, and region made to create the smorgasbord as it is considered today. Some dishes are poutine, Canadian bacon, butter tarts, Nanaimo bars, eh, Canadian typical attire. Canadian national clothing was formed under the influence of native Indians who lived on this land for centuries, and colonizers from Europe. Um, Also, traditional garments in Canada correspond with the weather conditions and climate in this part of world. That why traditional Canadian pieces of clothing are parkas, tuques, ohibawa, shirts, mittens, earmuff, and so on. Dress of native Indian. mostly the native more towards the with a kind of skirt onto them. It was the most popular clothing of native Indians. The breechcloth or breechcloths, a rectangular piece of cloth of leather which was built and wore with laughter leggings. Some tribes wore kilt and fur trousers. Colonial period. In general, garments of first Canadian leather were made by pattern of French and the English fashion. When first colonizers come to Canada in uh, 19, 19th century, they wore clothes which they brought from Europe. Um, Fashion in Canada today still depends much of the weather and climate condition. That why people wear parkas, long johns, earmuffs, scarves, gloves, knitting tucks, various jacket made of linen and leather, leggings, ohiwa, skirt, shirt, trousers, and make moccasins. These are unisex clothes, good for both men and women. Beautiful place in Canada to need you need to visit. Abraham Lake, Western Brook, Biofundy, Hasper National Park, and now we come United States culture. The next country is United States of America. Okay, the United States of America is a federal republic consisting of 50 states, a federal district. Washington, D.C. is the capital city of United States. Five major territories and various minor islands. The 48 contiguous states and Washington, D.C. Um, are in North America between Canada and Mexico, while Alaska is in the far northwestern part of North America, and Hawaii is an archipelago in the mid Pacific. Official United States languages. The USA is one the linguistical diversest country in the world. Historically, approximately 500 languages have been spoken in the country, with English is the widely used language. Spanish is the second most popular language in the country. In fact, the New Mexico state government uses Spanish to offer service and documents. There are also several languages native to the USA. American Sign Language is used by approximately uh, 5,000 people. The top five languages spoken in the country are English, Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. Despite the many languages spoken in the USA, the country does not have uh, an official language. English is only and de facto primary language in the country. According the acts in 2017, the most common language is spoken at home by people aged 5 years of age or older are as follows: English, 200, 239 million, and um, the second language is Spanish, with 41 million. Religion. Religion in the United States is diverse, with Christianity being the majority religion. Various religions fight have flourished within the United States. A majority of Americans report that religion plays a very import, important role in their lives. A proportion unique among developed countries. Freedom of religion in the United States is guaranteed in the First American to the United States Constitution. If you can, teacher, if you can read mm, the next text to learn about the Constitution of United States, about the free religion. Food. The United States is a country to great cultural diversity, and its cuisine have benefited great from the unique fusion of flavors and ingredients. The result that the result of this mixture are dishes that apple and anyone since almost everyone recognize something of their own culture and is bite. The dishes typical are apple pie, the hamburger, cloud, clam chowder. Okay, at attire. In America, your clothing, uh, whether bossy or casual, should always be clean, ironed, and neatly worn. Besides, wear fire stand to northeastern cities like New York and Boston are a bit more conservative than places like Los Angeles. But the men and women in Boston wear suit, meaning the jacket is of the same material and matches the trousers or skirts. Shoes are well maintained and shined. Women wear nylon stockings and appropriate color for the season. Men wear mm, knitties, and many women wear some kind of neatly tied scarf with a sweat. In casual seating, exercise, and sport clothes is widely worn by men, women, and children. Though in some environments it may be too casual. Blue jeans are worn throughout the United States by people in all walks of life. In that slide, you can see traditional dress and modern dress. Beautiful place. The United States has so many diverse cities and attractions that is difficult to narrow down the list. Mm, these are of the destination of most often sites as the places to see before you die. Another version of say they should be on your bucket list. Boise, Boise, Idaho, Chattanooga on Tennessee, Florida Space Coast, and Mid Coast, Maine, Australia, the smallest continent and one of the largest countries on Earth, lying between the Pacific and Indian Oceans and the southern hemisphere. Australia's capital is Canberra, located in southeast between the larger and more important economic and cultural centers of Sydney and Melbourne. Language. The dominant language since colonization has been English, with little multilingualism among the majority population. Nevertheless, both the diverse Aboriginal groups and many immigrants continue to use language other than English. Before the European invasion, there were around 250 Aboriginal languages, most of which probably had distinct dialect. Perhaps 19 of these languages are still spoken, with around 20 being spoken fluently by indigenous children. The decline in the use of Aboriginal languages is due to the effect to the colonization. Among some Aboriginal groups, especially in part of the north, a number of distinctive Creole dialects mix Aboriginal languages with English. Australian culture. You will probably notice some lifestyle difference between Australia and your home country. Here are some insights into Australian culture. You'll take a photo on landscape. Australians are quite casual and informal. For example, most Australian students refer to their lecturers and tutors by their first name. Australians expect everyone to be treated equally. It is customary thanks shop assistant and other service staff when they assist you. It is more it is important to be time in Australia. It's a policy of call if you are going to be late for a appointment. Smoking is not permitted in restaurant bars, nightclubs, and many other public covered areas, such as train stations. Littering is prohibited, as is drinking alcohol in a public place. Most Australians will be happy to help you if you are unsure of something. Religion. Recorded, recorded religion adherence has generally mirrored the immigrants' background in every census since the early colonial era. Most Australians have professed to be Christian, principally Anglican and Roman Catholic, but simple materialism has become more influential than Christianity. The, propors- the proportions registering as Orthodox Christian Muslims and Buddhists increased sharply in the late 20th century. Almost uh, one fourth of Australians professed no religion. In contrast to the European style, traditional Aboriginal communities are intensely spiritual. Their religion gives meaning to life, and the coordinating them is the sustaining connection between land and people. Food. Food customs at ceremonial occasion, not food, are reserved for special occasion, although the religion tradition of some ethnic groups include ceremonial food. However, there is increasing tendency of Christmas to involve light meal and barbecues in are become popular as well. Instead of pudding, many people have ice cream cakes or cold dessert such as pavlova, made from eggs with whites and sugar. Special meals are eaten among ethnic groups celebrate Easter or Passover. Molten chocolate product Easter eggs are gifts to children at time. Some dishes are vege- vegemite, vegemite, fire bread, chicken parmigiana, pavlova, etc. Australian culture at 3. Attire. Actually, in Australia, there is no typical costume and clothes depend of weather and the area of the country. Quite different, so is has not been unified to one into one. Near the coast, the wave is beach and surfing while island in the mountains, meadows and desert. The sunboy wave impose more. Some clothing that the people use are bushwear. This way of dressing is traditional from the interior areas. It began to develop from the 30s when the women began to use the pants, a fact that became more popular during World War II. The country style or bushwear is characterized by jeans, wool vest, rubber coat, rabbit for hat, and reading books. Today, there is no lack of a well or light color shirt and sweater belt. Surf style. In the coastal areas, type of clothing is worn according the activities practices in this place, such as surfing, first the swimming have involved going through the swimming suit, the bikini and wetsuit. As for women's clothing, elements for other countries have also been acquired, such as the pareo from Indonesia, the Fiji skirt, or the loose skirt from India. Garments that adapted to the climate and the need of the territory. Larkin. The larking concept refers to groups of people of 20th century who defend free thinking and modernism in Australia and have a rebellious behavior. Native, although at present of most the native of Australia live in city and wear modern clothes, in the past they had their own type of clothing. Beautiful place. Australia is a huge expanse of land surrounded by ocean. It is the sixth largest country in the world, in addition to territory of its island, and as many know, most of its population sits in coastal cities, which provides a lot of destination with a lot of biodiversity in addition to its building and museums. Any place are Sydney Harbour Bridge, Sydney Opera House, Great Barrier Reef Marine Parks, Uluru Kata Huta National Parks. South Africa. South Africa is one of the most diverse and interesting countries in the world. Tourists flock to South Africa for its natural beauty, wildlife, and sunshine. South Africa immensely varied terrain supports a rich diversity of animals, birds, and plant life, and others incomparable range of experience. South Africa have been referred to as the Rainbow Nation, a little which illuminates the country cultural diversity. The population of South Africa is one of the most complex and diverse in the world. This time we will talk about Pretoria. Praetorian languages. The black African population is heterogeneous, falling mainly into four linguistic categories. The largest is the Nguni, include various people who speak Swati, as well as those who speak language that take their names from the peoples by whom they are primarily spoken. The Nevele, the Xhosa, and Zulu. Praetorian religion. The majority of South Africans are Christian. The largest established Christian denomination directly rooted and European Scythianism, but now drawing members from all ethnic groups are the Methodists, Roman Catholics, Anglican, and Dutch Reformed churches. These five differ widely in their degree of theological orthodoxy, of heterodoxy from traditional Christian beliefs, but they tend to be more open to aspects of indigenous culture and religion and to emphasize physical and spiritual healing. Social custom. As they are everywhere in the world, part of daily life in South Africa are conditioned by social class, ethnicity, religion, and residence. The life of a black diamond miner in Limpopo improved, much different from that of Indian spotted pepper and Durban, an Afrikaner office worker in Johannesburg, or a teacher of English extraction in Cape Town. As the government suggests is to expand the economy in order to provide equality for all citizens. Great disparities continue exist. Food. The extent that the primary part of the inhabitants of Pretoria is European. European cuisine is the most widespread. Here there are national gastronomic establishments which can be appreciated by lovers of exotic dishes of the Business restaurant and the city of Fumo, specializing Italian cuisine, your living room and decorate in the modern and attractive style. The staff involves in the staff involves European and local chefs. The main feature factor of the establishment is exciting fish dishes. Any dishes are Carlton Coffee Delicious, Bloss Coffee, Capital Craft, Melon Park. Praetorian culture attire. From the traditional African clothing to to modern culture clothing inspired by African fashion, designed designed by talent South Africa pioneers. The African fashion scene is a dynamics as it is diverse. We take a closer look at some of our favorite African boutiques as well as some local designers. Beautiful place in Pretoria, known as City of Jacaranda, for all its three communities to violet for flowers. Pretoria is a quiet and charming city. It's a long, complicated, and fascinating story. Here you will find the important old buildings and the fascinating museums. Pretorian was as one the three capitals of South Africa with a population that exceeds 1 million people. The city center is designed in a typical way of the city on a green with wide street which make it very easy to get around. The building in Pretoria have a marked colonial influence, along with touches of Art Deco and South Africa style architecture. Places of interest in the city that are worth visit include Union Building, the the seat of the South Africa government, the Van Voortrekker Mound, a granite building that commemorates the journey of Voortrekkers from the Cape to the interior, which is a national heritage site. Malamba Noful, the president of the Pretorian, the Reserve Bank of South Africa, the Lufus versus Sports Stadium, and the South Africa State Theatre. Caribbean Island. The Caribbean island is a massive archipelago located in Caribbean Sea that can be subdivided into few different regions. The Lucayan Archipelago, the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, and the ABC Island. There are 13 sovereign states and 17 independent territories in the Caribbean, and the predominant languages are English, Spanish, French, Dutch, and Antillean Creole. The islands are Cayman Island, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Anguilla, Antigua, British Virgin Island, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Sava, Saint Martin, Saint Martin, Saint Eustatius, Saint Kitts and Nevis, U.S. Virgin Islands, Grand Barbados, Dominica, Granada, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent the Grenadines, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, and Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos. In this occasion, uh, I will I will go to talk about Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, island country of the southern West Indies. It consists of two main islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and several smaller islands, forming the two southernmost links in the Caribbean chain. Trinidad and Tobago lie close in the continent of South America. Northeast is of Venezuela and northwest of Guyana. Tobago, much smaller with an area of about 115 square miles, lies 20 miles to the northeast to Trinidad. Little Tobago lies about a mile of Tobago's northeastern coast. Also called Bird of Paradise Island, Little Tobago was once noted as the only wild habitat of the greater bird of paradise outside of New Guinea. However, the bird is not longer found there. Languages. English is the official language in Trinidad and Tobago. The other popular languages spoken in the country include Trinidad English Creole, Tobagoan Creole, and Trinidadian Hindustani. Religion. Under Spanish, Roman Catholic was the official religion and it was strengthened by French immigration during the French and Haitian Revolution. Anglicanism and Protestantism gained a foothold in various forms with the advent of the British. People from the India continent brought with them their languages and their Hindu Muslim religion. African influenced religion sects includes the Shango or Orisha faith derived from the Yoruba culture of modern Nigeria and spiritual Baptist, as since Protestant African Church. In the last 20th century there was a strict increase in adherents of Hinduism and of increased in the adherents of Hinduism on various fundamentalist evangelicals or Pentecostal churches, mainly of US origin. By the early 21st century, about one third of the people were Protestant, on the one fifth Roman Catholic, and almost one fifth Jehovah's Witnesses. Food. Trinidad and Tobago cuisine reflect a fusion African, Creole, Indian, South Asian, Chinese, Amerindian, Arab, European, and Latin American Spanish Portuguese cuisine. Attire. Most Trinidadians wear modern West style clothing. The Caribbean shirt jacket, a belt jacket worn with a scarf, and do shirt and popular among men for of Spain. Traditional clothing includes men's turban and women's saris is worn by some members of the country Asian Indian population. Every religious special clubs spend months preparing extravagant costumes for Trinidad and Tobago's famous Carnival celebration. The brightly colored outfit may be made of either cotton or such dress fabric, fabrics as velvet, saint, and lame. They are often decorated with bats, feathers, sequins, shells, leaves, and straw. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. Trinidad is the busiest and southernmost of the West Indies, in the capital port of Spain, located on the northwest coast of Trinidad. Travel will find impressive example, examples of Renaissance and colonial architecture, as well as eclectic mix of Creole, Amerindian, African, and European culture. The beaches of this island are simply beautiful, and their mountains Sanger divide the territory, creating a very interesting landscape. Some beautiful places are Maracas Bay, Pigeon Point, Nylon Pool, and Englishman Bay. Jamaica, island country of West Indies. It is the third largest island in the Caribbean Sea. After Cuba and Hispaniola, Jamaica is about 146 miles long and varies from 22 to 51 miles wide. It is situated some 100 miles west of Haiti, 90 miles south of Cuba, and 390 miles northeast of the northern point on the mainland. Cape Gracias a Dios on the Caribbean coast of Central America. The national capital is Kingdom. Languages. Jamaica is regarded as a bilingual country where Jamaican English and Jamaican Patois are the most widely spoken languages. The languages in Jamaica reflect its history from British colonization to slave trade, African influence, and a rise in nationalism. Languages in the country also, also attends to the island rich ethnic, languages, linguistic and cultural. Jamaican English. English is the official language in Jamaica and the language is mostly used in formal contexts. The English spoken in Jamaica has been influenced mainly by British English. English in Jamaica is the languages of commerce, education, government, media, and religion. The language is also associated with influence, social class, and achievement. Most is most spoken language in Jamaica. Indigenous languages of Jamaica is survived in Jamaica. A small population of Aboriginal people referred to as the Taino people trace their ancestry to the first settler of the island. Jamaican patois is also referring to Jamaican Creole or Patois. Croman language is a similar to Akan language group of West Africa, especially of a stone language of Ghana. The language is distinct from Jamaican patois and reserved for the Maroons or Morrow Town, situated in eastern Jamaica. Religion. Freedom of worship is guarded by Jamaican constitution. Most Jamaican are Protestant. A largest denomination are the Seventh-day Adventist and Pentecostal churches. A smaller but still significant number of religion adherents belong various denominations using the name Church of God. Only a small proportion of Jamaicans attend the Anglican Church, with as the Church of England was the island's Protestant denomination include the Moravian Church, the United Church in Jamaica and Cayman Island, the Society of Friends, and the United Church of Christ. There is also a branch of Ethiopian Orthodox Tehuendo Church. Cultural life. Jamaica's cultural development has been deep, deeply influenced by British tradition and a church roots and folk forms. The letters are based chiefly of the colorful, rhythmic intensity of the island African heritage. Traditional food. The cuisine of Jamaica is characterized by being greatly influenced by great diversity of cultures, since it being place of passions for both Africans, British, Chinese, and always the most common foods are cassava, corn, guavas, fish, roast meat, etc. Products that are rarely found in Europe. Some dishes are egg and fish, rice and peas, patty jamaicano, ackee and saltfish. Beautiful place. Known as the birthplace of reggae, Jamaica boasts a treasure trove of natural wealth and a colorful African wave, golden beaches, lush green mountains, turquoise sea, coral reef, rainforests, and rivers are just some of the island's enviable essence. Nature lovers will find plenty of things to do from hiking and birding in the jungle to diving or snorkeling and frogging for reef. Some places are Negril Beach and Negril Cliff, rafting the Martha Brave River, and Dunes River Falls. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is a unitary state comprised of four constituted countries: Scotland, Wales, England, and Northern Ireland, and is governed by parli- parliamentary system with government headquarters in London. The, cap- the capital, but with three decentralized national administration in Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast, the capital of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, respectively. The difference between England, the United Kingdom, and Great Britain. The United Kingdom is the United Kingdom have four countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Great Britain have England, Scotland, and Wales. And British Island have Great Britain, Ireland, and total of 5,000 small islands. The United Kingdom. The United Kingdom consists of four constituted countries: England, the capital is London; Scotland, the capital is Edinburgh; Wales, the capital is Cardiff; Northern Ireland, the capital is Belfast. The flags the United Kingdom. The flag of the United Kingdom is the Union flag, but it is also known as the Union Jack. It symbolizes the union of the kingdom, England, Scotland, and North Ireland, but not Wales, since it is a principality. If you look at the flag, you will distinguish the English cross of St. George, the Scottish cross St. Andrews, and Irish cross St. Patrick's. Some people believe that the flag should also include the Dragon of Wales, although for now you see that it is not represented. Languages. All traditional languages spoken in the United Kingdom ultimately derive from common Indo-European origin and taught us so ancient that over millennia it has split into a variety of languages, each with its own peculiarities in sound, grammar, and vocabulary. De facto official language of the United Kingdom is English, which is spoken 98% of the population. English is in various dialects is the most widely spoken language of the United Kingdom. However, there are a number of regional languages also spoken. There are 14 indigenous languages used across the British Isles, five, five Celtics, three Germanics, three Romances, and three Sank languages. There are also many immigrant languages spoken in British Islands, mainly within inner city areas. These languages are mainly from South Asia and Eastern Europe. Attire. One of the most famous national costumes in the world is that worn in Scotland, the skill. However, some people say that skill is not as traditional as some would have it. Be that as is may, it is entirely what people associate with Scotland, along with whiskey and haggis. That is. Today, traditional dress for men in Scotland is skill with shirt, waistcoat, and two-wet jacket, scotting, with garden flashes, brown shoes, and sporran. A bonnet is often worn displaying the clan crest. Food. British cuisine is developed over years thanks to the native food is of its Caribbean island, as well as the country custom that accompany them. Over the years, traditional British food, thus adapted to the climate to the British Isles, have been influenced cultures with which they have had extensive contact, such as European, American, and Asia, Chinese cuisine, and Indian cuisine. During the time of the British Empire and as a result of post-war immigration. So, due to those influences, British cuisine can be classified as cosmopolitan as well as traditional. Some dishes are English breakfast, salt beef beagle, cider, and whiskey. Beautiful place. The United Kingdom has long been one of Europe's most popular tourist destinations. The country appeals as much to do with diverse sceneries and rich cultural heritage. The best places to visit include everything from beauty preserved countries, states, and castles to its many world class art galleries and museums. One of the great pleasures of UK vacation, however, is just how easy it is to explore fascinating and diverse country. Thanks to its size, the UK could easily fit into the state of the Texas. You can base yourself in cities such as London or Liverpool and simply take a train or bus to explore other areas. Some places are London, the UK, all in one destination. Roman era Bath, Edinburgh, Scotland capital, and ancient Stonehenge and medieval Salisbury, the university towns of Cambridge and Oxford, and Canterbury Church.